All right, well, it is noon, so let's go ahead and kick off. Hello, thank you for joining us. We're super excited to have you here today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We're very excited about the release of Service Cloud Voice and the partnership with AWS, and we're excited to share all that we know about it. Caveat before we start though, this is a new release. So there are new pieces of information that are coming out by the minute, it seems. However, we welcome your questions. There is a Q&A section. Depending on your screen, it's by the mute area. So if you have questions, please feel free to submit them. We have team members monitoring that, so we're going to answer those as we can. If they require more research or clarification, we're happy to find those answers and get those back to you later. Like I said, there are a lot of details that are still being released. So it's our job and our pleasure to find those answers for you. Before we get into all the fun stuff though, just quick introductions. So my name is Kendra McKeever. I am the founder of Cloud Next Level. We are a certified Salesforce partner and certified woman-owned business. We're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, but we service clients across the US. I am accompanied today by Tom Cella from Omni Legion Technologies. Tom, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, hi. So my name's Tom Cella. I am with Omni Legion Technologies. We are a IT systems integrator. We are experts in contact center and customer experience technology, and we help companies build and migrate to cloud contact center platforms, primarily using Amazon Web Services. So I just want to thank Kendra and Cloud Next Level for allowing us to be on the call today and educate you guys a little bit on what's sort of powering the telephony platform underneath the new Salesforce Service Cloud product.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so the agenda today probably looks familiar. You saw this on the registration page where you signed up. We're going to talk about some of the trends that we are seeing in the contact center marketplace. If you're not familiar with Amazon Connect, that is okay. We're going to start at the top and talk about what it is and how it factors in here. We'll get into what is Service Cloud Voice and how does it differ from what you may be using today, and how it really is going to improve the life and experience for your customers, for your agents, and for your supervisors. We'll talk about some of the advantages of the partnership between Salesforce and AWS, and then we'll show you a brief demo. Before we get into all that fun stuff though, we'd love to understand, just to kind of get a lay of the land, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing in your contact center today? We'll put up a poll with some of the most common ones that we hear. If you would share, which of these resonate with you, and then we'll talk about how what we're going to talk about today will address some of these challenges. No challenges? Okay, that's all right. Well, we will talk about how we're going to address these anyways, and if maybe they resonate with you. So you're on this meeting, first call resolution. Okay, that's absolutely going to be something that we're going to talk about. Awesome. You're on this webinar today or listening to it probably because you are a contact center subject matter expert. So this is probably not going to be new news to you, but just to kind of lay the foundation. There was research done, a survey done, and it was estimated that between 2019 and 2025, the cloud-based contact center market is going to more than triple. So from just shy of $15 billion to $45 billion. And I do want to call out that this was actually pre-COVID, before everybody was forced to go virtual and work from home. And that is a tremendous amount of investment going into this space and innovation that's going to have to follow it. But why is that? Why is so much money being dumped into cloud-based contact centers? Well, for a number of reasons. So if you think about from your organization, as well as just us as consumers, right? We buy products and services from companies, and there are lots of ways that we can communicate with those companies. We can email them, we can go on their website and chat with them, we can find them on social media. But study after study shows that the vast majority of us still pick up the phone. And, we do this for lots of reasons. Maybe it's something sensitive like our mortgage we want to discuss, or maybe we were really excited about a package that we were getting and it showed up damaged. And so we want a resolution right away. Lots of reasons, but again, most of us are still picking up the phone. But the problem is, it's usually not a great experience, right? So most organizations have invested in IVR to try to capture, who we are and why we're calling and route us appropriately. But if you're anything like me, chances are you end up saying representative, representative. And by the time a poor agent gets on the line, my stress level's through the roof and they're jumping in sort of, trying to figure out who I am and why I'm calling and how to help. So it's not a great experience. And it's actually really impacting the bottom line. It's estimated that $75 billion is lost in business due to poor customer service. And when we think about what is good customer service, most of us say it's speed and convenience. In that kind of phone experience, it does not provide speed or convenience. So it's an issue. And we're going to talk about how to address some of that today. Again, just to try to understand, where everybody is in this space, we'd love to know, what type of architecture are you employing today in your organization? Do you have on-prem? Are you already fully in the cloud? Are you somewhere in the middle with a hybrid solution? All right, I'm going to move to the next slide. So depending on where you are in this, you may or may not be familiar with what Amazon is doing in the cloud-based contact center space. Tom is going to help us understand how Amazon fits into this picture with their journey in Amazon Connect. So Tom, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Kendra. So yeah, let's talk about Amazon and how they're fitting into this overall picture from a customer experience standpoint. So Amazon, as a company, approximately 13 years ago, I guess now. So it was in the mid 2000s, really, is when Amazon was looking around at other products to service their needs as they were a growing company, right? And Amazon is very well known for their customer service, their customer experience. I've never actually spoken to somebody that's complained about the customer service they've received from Amazon. So they have an excellent reputation. And, Amazon's vision is, they want to be the most customer-centric company in the world. And obviously Amazon has millions of customers that speak dozens of languages across dozens of countries. And so their needs are unique. And at any given point in time, right now, Amazon has over 70,000 customer service agents on the phones servicing their wide base of customers across the world. So Amazon's vision certainly is to service a customer as completely and effortlessly as possible, right? So Amazon in the mid 2000s was looking to innovate and looking out there to see what was next, what they wanted to do next in the customer experience platform. So I believe it was in 2007, Amazon was looking at switching or upgrading their contact center platform. And what they found were what I think a lot of companies have come up against, which is looking at other solutions with legacy type platforms can be challenging. A lot of them come with a very cumbersome set of tools and processes and ways that you actually administer and care and feed for the system, right? A lot of them also come with very difficult integrations from a development standpoint and an engineering standpoint. The lift for deploying a lot of these solutions is quite heavy when you talk about some of these more legacy-based solutions. Another thing that was very that stuck out very quickly to them were the complex license models required to go through. The license catalogs for some of these things are quite lengthy. I myself, having deployed a lot of them in the last 20 years, can attest to the fact that licensing some of these products, some of the more legacy-based products that are, still leading the industry out there, it's almost like you need to have a degree to go through there and license them. So I think that also is a big point of frustration for Amazon. Another one too was the hardware required, the infrastructure which was required to go and deploy these solutions was significant. It was significant in terms of capital investment, but also was significant in terms of whether you wanted to be on-prem or on a co-location in a data center facility. Meant that your CapEx expenses went up as well as your OpEx to actually host that into the future. And then one thing too, I think the security, it says here security, scalability, and reliability, but what that means and what that meant, to Amazon was that a lot of these products out there in the market, they had holes and they had issues that when you're a big company, you need to be able to respond to threats and security issues quickly. And some of these other legacy type solutions out there in the market had honestly gotten a little bit too big for their britches and were not as agile as they had been earlier on in the life cycle of these products, which made it challenging for Amazon to really have the vision and the appetite to switch right from what they were using. And then lastly, this is one I can certainly attest to. My background, I come from engineering and deployment. In the past, deploying and selling and supporting some of these other legacy type solutions, typically were prem-based solutions. There are heavy costs involved in professional services to go in and deploy these solutions. You typically need engineers that are very well versed and skilled within the technology set that they will be deploying the services in, but they're typically very, very lengthy projects. 4 to 6 months can be very typical sometimes when going and deploying some of these projects to build an enterprise contact center. I think all these things kind of boiled up into a very a level of frustration for Amazon, which I think forced their hand. And Amazon being known as an innovative company, I feel like, the story goes at least that they decided to go in a different direction. So what you have then is Amazon Connect, right? Which was born out of Amazon's own desire to create their own contact center product. And if anyone on the call is not familiar with Amazon Web Services, just as a brief primer on what AWS is AWS is a cloud computing platform. It's an ecosystem of services that run in the cloud on AWS's servers and data centers across the world that are all separate, distinct services that you can consume as a business or actually as an individual. If you wanted to actually go and start playing around with AWS as a consumer, you can actually go and sign up for a free account on AWS and start consuming any of those services. And there's actually a free tier which you can consume for free up to certain limits, and start understanding, really like wrapping your head around like what is cloud, right? Because we've heard a lot, in the last several years about cloud, right? It's a buzzword in the IT industry, and a lot of people don't understand it. AWS is the cloud. It's one of the clouds, right? It's the leader in cloud computing by far. But the power of Amazon Connect, and what I want to point out in this slide right here, is that Amazon Connect is not just powered within a single service called Amazon Connect. It leverages a lot of other powerful services within the AWS ecosystem to be a complete contact center technology solution, right? And one of the more powerful services which Amazon Connect utilizes to really glue itself into the rest of the ecosystem within AWS is a product called Lambda, up in the upper left-hand corner there under development. So Lambda, AWS Lambda is a product, it's a service within AWS that's, I believe, around 4 years old now, that is a serverless computing platform, which allows you to develop, build code, and deploy it in the cloud without having to provision and deploy infrastructure resources. So what it allows you to do also, most importantly, within AWS and Amazon Connect product is to invoke any other service within AWS's ecosystem. And depending on who you ask and what types of services we're talking about here, there are over 170 distinct services right now within AWS's ecosystem that you can theoretically use and invoke within your AWS contact flows for contact center. Which, as you understand and start to delve into more of like what cloud is and what Amazon Web Services is, you really start to get a sense of just how powerful the solution can be as we start talking about doing more advanced type routing and go dipping into whether it's a simple NoSQL database, or if you even want to dip into something more SQL related, like a MySQL database, you can do that by provisioning resources within Dynamo database, for example, or RDS, Relational Database Service, which is a MySQL database. You can actually run a SQL schema within the cloud and consume it that way. And then really, I think also one of the powerful things that's driving innovation in customer experience these days is around artificial intelligence and machine learning. And really what you can start to consume and see the power of is within Amazon's Lex platform, which powers their artificial intelligence product, which is also incidentally the same technology that is powering your Amazon Alexa device. And it really is something that's natively integrated into the Amazon Connect product, which allows you to do powerful out of the box speech recognition technology, which in a lot of other legacy-based solutions, you're paying licensing for and it's very expensive. This is all out of the box supported. You get this, this advanced speech recognition technology when you start consuming Amazon Connect. So Amazon Connect, as we spoke about, is a contact center product. It's an ACD, but it's more, right? But out of the box, what you get is an omni-channel cloud-based contact center, which will scale with you, and it scales automatically. And it comes with everything that you would expect a contact center would come with out of the box. So we're talking about skills-based routing for voice and chat skills, or chat for voice and chat contacts out of the box with the powerful skills-based routing, as well as full interaction recording. So what that means is out of the box, Amazon Connect will record all of your interactions, all of your phone calls without any extra licensing. And you can apply real-time historical analytics out of the box to those interactions. No special licensing is required, no special infrastructure or services to deploy. And quite frankly, out of the box, what you get, in my opinion, at least as much as I know now about Amazon Connect after having deployed it and supported it, out of the box, I would say it's comparable to what you would consume and get from any other legacy type platform product right now from the reporting standpoint. And then one other thing to point out quickly too is within Amazon Connect, when you start talking about deploying it as a solution in the contact center, typically you're going to go out there and you're going to deploy it using a soft phone. You do have the option to use a hard phone as an endpoint, not SIP supported necessarily, but you do have the option to use a hard phone endpoint. But really what Amazon Connect is all about is the soft phone, right? And they call it the contact control panel. And Amazon actually has spent, you know, some time really getting the voice codec right. And quite frankly, soft phones are becoming more the norm now as a lot of companies shift into these cloud-based models and stop deploying hard phones there for the contact center agents. You have to have a high quality voice codec to be able to rely on. And Amazon has definitely gotten this right and invested a lot of time and money into perfecting what that is. So from a pure, if we're talking about Amazon Connect, right? And you know, why would you want to look at Amazon Connect, or why even talk about it? Really, the big differentiator out there in the market right now is a lot of the times going to be cost, right? it's a consumption-based model. So out of the box, if you want to start consuming Amazon Connect, you're not going to pay for any upfront licensing, which is a big shift in terms of switching and shifting from a CapEx heavy investment model into a new technology to more of an OpEx ongoing model. You're paying for what you consume, right? Only what you use. There's no upfront licensing. And actually Amazon, within the last couple months, I believe it was in either June or July, they commissioned Forrester Research to go out and calculate and do the research on what the total economic impact is of Amazon Connect in the marketplace right now. And I believe it came back after they went and did a deep dive on 6, Amazon Connect enterprise customers. And what they found from Forrester was that on average, it was 31% cheaper than deploying and supporting some of these other technologies out there and other solutions. So that's a big deal. And then one of the other things that a lot of companies don't really look into when you consider the total cost of ownership by switching from a legacy solution to more of a cloud-based solution is the maintenance that you would typically pay for, right? Maintenance costs from not only a software maintenance cost, which can typically be sometimes north or close to 20%, right, of the annual contract. Those go away; those are eliminated. But also, one of the things I want to point out is operational expenses can be reduced quite a bit because you shift a lot of the cost of the care and feeding of the systems over to Amazon Web Services. We're talking about significant savings that aren't typically considered when you actually go through and start calculating what the total cost of ownership is. And then also lastly, just wanted to point out here, Amazon Web Services is huge. It's supported across many regions, across many countries. And within a typical region, you have anywhere between 3 to 5 data centers, which are also called availability zones, which are replicating data, right, across those availability zones. So the concept of high availability is insane in terms of talking about supporting and scaling out your contact center. It's elastic, right? And that's the term you probably hear from time to time, right? But that really is the key. Your scaling of your resources across many availability zones across many regions within the world is automatic. You don't need to go out and provision new servers and deploy new stuff in new data centers in other countries, which, speaking from experience, can be challenging to say the least.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tom. All right, so we've covered the Amazon side of the house. Let's talk about what is Service Cloud Voice and how is this different? And the good news is all of that beautiful innovation and those benefits that Tom talked about with Amazon Connect come bundled with Service Cloud Voice. So that is super exciting. Okay, so let's look at this first of all from the experience of the customer. We've already kind of gone through the current reality and how phone calls are often a really painful experience. So let's take an example now in this new world, what a phone call could look like. Let's say Tom is at the airport and his flight has been canceled. We've probably all been there. So what do? You pick up the phone and you call the airline or you call your travel agent. And now, instead of going through all that, who are you, why are you calling? Now you may be greeted with something like this. Hello, Tom. It looks like your flight has been canceled. I'm so sorry about that. There's another flight this evening. Can I book you on that flight? So that was the power of Lex VoiceBot, predictive assistance, knowing who Tom was when he called and understanding why he's probably calling to jump into a solution. And so if Tom says, sure, book me on the next flight, that transaction can be completed. No agent has been involved. Tom can go have a coffee or the beverage of his choice while he waits for his flight and remain a happy, loyal customer. But let's say Tom raises the stakes and he says, no, I need to get a good night's sleep. I'm going to get a hotel. I want to fly out in the morning. And for my inconvenience, I want an upgrade. Okay, so this might be beyond the approval authority of Lex, right? So we're going to have to get an agent involved. But this time, instead of the agent coming on the line and saying, who are you? What's going on? The agent can come into that conversation and be armed with the transcription, the conversation that's already happened. So they can step in real time and say, Tom, I'm so sorry, your flight's been canceled. I understand you need a good night's sleep tonight and you would like an upgrade in the morning. Let me see what I can do for you. Wow, what a different experience, right? So Tom's cortisol level is going to drop. The agent is able to go into adding value and service to Tom and having, that empowered experience together. So completely changing the dynamics of that entire experience. Let's talk a little bit more about the agent. Agents are people too. They don't like dealing with angry people. They don't like getting on the phone and making them angrier by asking them all the same questions they've already answered. So being able to really empower them with that information about who they're talking to, why they're calling, what information they've already provided is really setting them up to have that fantastic experience and interaction with the customer. Additionally, they are going to be supported by Einstein, listening into the conversation for keywords that Einstein can recommend solutions or alternatives, maybe other products they can suggest, but being that sidekick to the agent so that they are going to be able to provide the best service they can and know the next best action. So back to the example with Tom, maybe Einstein has heard the word hotel and can provide the agent a list of all the hotels that are right by the airport that the agent can send to Tom. Again, really changing the dynamics of that whole interaction and improving that first call resolution that we already talked about being a pain point for most of us. Finally, as the conversation is ending, instead of today, the agent having to type out everything that happened in the conversation, that call recording as well as the transcription are going to automatically be saved to all of the appropriate Salesforce records. So instead of spending 3 to 5 minutes to wrap up a call, an agent can just, if they choose, add a few pieces of color commentary in a couple of seconds, save the record, and move on to helping the next customer. Again, a tremendous improvement in efficiency and a tremendous cost savings. Also, one other final piece of this for the agents, instead of with a phone call having to do Alt-Tab to switch screens or handle pop-ups on the screen, all of this information about Tom and the call and the transcription, it's all going to be in a single pane of glass, this omni-channel console that is going to provide them all of the information they need. So it's a streamlined experience, really improving the life of the agent. Let's talk about it from the perspective of a supervisor. And especially now that supervisors are not able in most cases to walk the floor and listen in on their agents' phone calls, now they are going to be empowered to monitor across all of the channels of conversation. So digital and phone calls with these real-time transcriptions, looking at multiple agent conversations and being able to coach them by whispering suggestions. So not only do the agents have the power of Einstein helping them, but they can also have their supervisors helping them during these calls. Again, all of this is going to be in this beautiful omni-channel console where everything that the supervisor needs is going to be in one screen for them to really effectively lead their team. Most of us have probably seen the beautiful analytics and dashboards that Einstein produces. Well, the supervisors are going to be able to leverage that and have all the KPIs they need to really be able to say, okay, where does my team need some coaching? Which metrics are we struggling with? And be able to manage to those, as well as then to report up to their management and executive teams. So we've touched on these, but again, just to kind of highlight some of the differences between the solution you may be using today and what comes with Service Cloud Voice with Amazon Connect bundled in. That telephony piece, as Tom talked about, does come with Amazon Connect. So that's going to be part of the package and all managed through your Salesforce Service Cloud Voice licensing. The real-time transcription is going to be available to agents as well as to supervisors to monitor, to be able to act in real time on those. Not having to switch screens for phone calls, having everything right alongside with other forms of communication, all in that beautiful single pane of glass, the omni-channel console. All right, Tom, I'm going to pass it back to you to talk about some other advantages of the partnership between Salesforce and AWS.
Yeah, thanks, Kendra. So, so the advantages, right? Why are we here? Why are we talking about this? It's actually really exciting, at least for me, right? I'll totally get excited talking about this stuff, but really, it's an interesting partnership when you think about the CRM leader, right, in the world coming together with the leader in cloud, right? AWS is like you're getting the power of both companies, the cloud leader and the #1 CRM company in the world, joining forces, right? That's a big deal in terms of what they can do to differentiate and drive value for your business. These guys have been doing this for a long time, and having that peace of mind that what you're putting out there, right, in the cloud, within Salesforce and using AWS to drive your customer experience. Really, I think from a business standpoint, right, it's like you want to have that peace of mind that your data is secure, and then it's running within a platform that you can trust, right? And AWS being the leader in cloud ecosystems and cloud services, obviously they scale across many countries across the entire world, and they have a lot of different requirements for security and compliance and protocols that they need to comply with. And so really having that trust and that peace of mind that your solution's backed up by an entire ecosystem that scales across the entire world, I think is one of the key advantages of this relationship. And then also, and this is something that I like to joke with my partners with here, is that AWS innovates very quickly, and having your telephony, your customer experience platform underpinned by a platform that is constantly innovating and trying to stay ahead of the curve means that you're going to be able to be innovative yourself, right? And it's like, do you want to be stuck on a platform that's closed and proprietary, and you're going to have to wait for upgrade cycles, right, which typically are going to be around a year or more to get new features? Or do you want to be, within consuming a technology that's more future-proof? Honestly, within the month of July, Amazon released and announced support for 4 new features, which were quite frankly game changers within Amazon Connect and the customer engagement platform. And 4 is actually not a lot. I've seen months where they've come out with 6, 7, 8 new features, which are released. They're announced and released and available for you to consume, which I think is exciting. And you as a company moving towards a solution that's cloud-based, which is going to be more innovative, you can grow with AWS, you can grow with Salesforce and within this relationship as the companies grow. You're not going to be stuck into a closed ecosystem that's going to, quite frankly, very proprietary. You're not going to have a lot of choice in terms of what they decide to support. And I'll also say this, because Amazon Connect is a relatively new product, right? It was announced and launched in 2017. And so they're still very open to feature requests, and I've seen them implement those quite surprisingly very quickly, depending on the feature request. But they're very eager to hear from their customers that are consuming this technology, and to innovate and offer those things to be competitive in the marketplace. And so this really, what I want to point out here is really a couple things, right? Because what Kendra went through and showed was very cool stuff. But I think the point here is that when you actually, and if you start consuming Service Cloud Voice, what you're getting is not just Service Cloud Voice with Salesforce with cool Amazon technology underneath it. You're really tapping into an entire ecosystem of next generation services that you can consume at will, right? So what the exciting, some of the exciting things, right? This is kind of like a bulleted list of like, these are what are the bullets of what's powering the more exciting features within Service Cloud Voice. Obviously Amazon Connect, right? Amazon Connect is underlying contact center technology that's powering your inbound telephony, your outbound calling, your call routing, all of your call recording, right? But I talked about it a little bit earlier too, and one of the most powerful parts of Amazon Connect is the service called Lambda, which, we talked about. That's the serverless computing platform, but it really is powerful, and it's what's providing you with the integration, not only with the other AWS services, right? But Lambda's the glue that's providing the integration between Amazon Connect and your Salesforce integration, and any other web service, right? If you have another web service out there that you want to integrate with, it's an open API, great. Amazon AWS Lambda supports that. They support natively out of the box 8 different programming languages, and then really up to any other type of programming language you can load the development framework into Lambda and support those. So it's very scalable, it's very extensible. And then one other thing too that I always really kind of get geeked out about, but I'm kind of like, it almost seems to me like it's a given now, but there actually are a lot of solutions out there that are not even doing this yet, which is the speech-to-text transcription service that Amazon has called Transcribe. So this is, kind of, in my opinion, a powerful tool for your agents in the contact center to be able to use to streamline their efficiencies, right? And it's kind of that whole concept of making your agents smarter by not requiring them to keep manual notes on a call, right? If you have that real-time text transcription of the caller occurring and your agents don't have to sit there and write notes, they can refer back to sort of have a breadcrumb trail almost of the entire conversation. It makes them more efficient, and it makes it so they have to reduce the amount of times they'll ask customers questions. And it just adds up to a frictionless experience for your customers. And that's really the reason why we're here right now, right? Is we want to make it easier to do business with your company. And then, also I'll point out as well in here, Comprehend is another service that I think is going to power a lot of the more advanced features within this Service Cloud Voice product. So what Comprehend is a service that's been around now for about 2 years that Amazon launched, that is a natural language processing service. So think of that as it's ingesting data, it's ingesting unstructured data, right? And it's identifying relationships within that data to provide analysis in there and add structure and give you insights and meaning within that data. So what Service Cloud Voice specifically will be using Comprehend for example, would be stuff like sentiment analysis, right? So do we want to know, out of the box, why are customers calling? We can do that stuff with sentiment analysis and intelligent IVR routing. And then do we want to know based on how our agents had their interaction with our agents, with our customers, whether it was a positive interaction or it was negative? Well, what if I wanted to know how many of our agents called in the last week and said the word cancel, right? You're allowed to have that feature out of the box with Comprehend that does that natural language processing to identify and do the real deep dive speech analytics stuff out of the box. That's very powerful stuff, which quite frankly, out there in the industry right now, it's not being done a lot. And I think that's what is driving the whole power between this relationship with AWS and Salesforce.
All right, very good. So next we're going to show you just very quick demo. It's 2 minutes just to give you a flavor of what this looks like. Oops. If I can get it to do it here.
Salesforce Service Cloud Voice uses intelligent telephony to increase agent productivity and better serve customers from anywhere. Agents can now handle phone calls with the same workspace and intelligent productivity tools used for digital channels. When agents are online, they can answer calls right inside of Omnichannel with intuitive controls to transfer, mute, hold, and end calls without leaving the service console. With intelligent IVR, They already know what customers are calling about before answering, like questions about billing, and can see a complete view of the customer with the Customer 360 platform, including integrated data like billing history and past service transactions. While real-time transcription captures calls as they're happening so agents can focus on resolving the issue instead of writing notes. And Einstein Article Recommendation pulls up helpful articles about the policy that agents can send to customers for more information based on content of the call in real time. Then, agents can be guided through processes step by step, like issuing refunds or signing customers up for new policies with lightning flows. While Einstein Next Best Action automatically suggests next best steps by using intelligence to pull information from calls transcribed in real time. At the end of the call, the recording and transcript are attached to the case, and Einstein Case Wrap-Up reduces average handle time by predicting case fields. Contact center supervisors can also monitor voice calls the way they monitor digital conversations, like using keyword flagging to choose which calls to monitor at any time, and sending agents notes in real time, all while managing remotely with the enhanced Omni-Channel Supervisor Console. See how to easily set up cloud telephony, get running quickly, and unify your call center with Salesforce Service Cloud Voice.
So just to recap again, how is this going to make a difference in your organization? Well, for your customers, they're going to have a better experience because when they call in, they're going to be answered with a natural language sounding voice bot using Amazon Lex that will help to already know why they're calling and start to answer or provide a solution, again, leading to that first call resolution metric, even in most cases without an agent being involved. And if an agent does get involved, they're not going to have to repeat everything they've said again to that agent. Agents are going to be empowered with the information of what the customer has already shared with that call transcription. They're going to be empowered with Einstein coaching them, as well as the supervisors being able to whisper to them. Your training and onboarding processes are going to be able to be streamlined and more consistent because everybody is going to have that experience of having Einstein guide them through their next best steps. Just having this better experience for the agents is going to reduce your turnover, which we know is a huge problem in many organizations. The agents aren't going to have to switch between screens or deal with pop-ups all over the place. Everything's going to be in that single pane of glass. They won't have to type out all their notes. They can just save the record, add some notes if they so choose, and move on to the next customer. And then finally, for the supervisors, they're going to be enabled and empowered, even from home, to help their team. They can listen in on calls, whisper suggestions, coach them. And this is across all of the communication channels, but we're talking specifically about voice and phone calls today. They will also leverage that omni-channel console to see everything they need, and then have the reporting and analytics to better manage their team, as well as provide the information they need upstream to the executive suite. So as far as next steps go, if you're interested in learning more about this for your organization, we would love to continue on this journey with you. Our email is there below, again, in partnership with Omni Legion. We're happy to dive into more specifics about the Salesforce Service Cloud Voice side of things, as well as the Amazon side of things. And if you'd like to share where you are in your transformation journey, if this is something you're looking to do right away or further down the line, we'd love to know that. But again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your time. We hope you're as excited as we are about this new release, and we look forward to reconnecting with you again soon. All right. Have a great day, everybody.